17 News is your local election headquarters. Polls closed just a few hours ago in the special election to replace Kevin McCarthy in California's 20th congressional district. This special election is to decide who completes the rest of McCarthy's term, which he left early. 17's Jenny Huh has more tonight on the high-stakes race.
Voters, this is the race to replace Kevin McCarthy in Congress, and May 21st is a runoff special election. In March, we had a primary special election with 9 candidates, but because no one got a majority of the votes, we moved on to this runoff with the top 2 vote-getters, Republicans Mike Boudreau and Vince Fong. It's anticipated to be a low turnout but high-stakes Republican-on-Republican race.
If there's a significant margin and if Assemblyman Fong is ultimately successful this evening, I would not be surprised if Tulare County Sheriff Boudreau suspended his campaign and maybe directed his attention elsewhere. So ultimately, we may find that it's not competitive in the end because it was so lopsided from a fundraising standpoint.
Per Federal Election Commission filings, Fong has raised nearly $1.5 million as of early May. Boudreau has raised about $423,000.
Really, your ability to fundraise, which is what creates your ability to communicate with voters en masse, that's what can sort of draw the distinction between a good candidate and a great candidate. The way you're introduced to these candidates is mail sent to your home, is a commercial you see on television, or something you may hear on KMJ.
CD-20 includes parts of Kern, Kings, Fresno, and Tulare counties and is nearly half Republican. It's a very simple ballot, just 1 race and 2 candidates. Mike Boudreau is the Tulare County Sheriff. Vince Fong is a state assemblyman. The victor holds the seat until January 2025 and helps grow the slimming Republican majority in Congress.
And Jenny has been following this race closely and joins us now with a breakdown of the early results. Good evening.
Tammy, good evening. Early results are in tonight for the runoff special election. There's only 2 candidates, both Republicans. The AP called the race 17 minutes after polls closed. They say Vince Fong has won. That's a call both candidates agree with. Fong was unavailable for an interview tonight, but here's what Mike Boudreau had to say.
I've already telephoned and gave Vince a phone call, and we had a very great conversation with each other and gave him congratulations. And so in this case, I don't know that moving forward would be really responsible to those, who would be spending money on me. And so we're going to have to evaluate and see what that looks like.
So you're not ruling anything out when it comes to your future, and that anything includes potentially endorsing Fong?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's big news. Boudreau is considering dropping out ahead of the November general election. That election is to decide who gets the full 2-year term in Congress. The candidates in that race are also Fong and Boudreau. Now let's take a look at the numbers as they stand tonight. Statewide, about 82% of the votes are in. Assemblyman Vince Fong is leading with 60% of the vote statewide. Tulare County Sheriff Mike Boudreau is trailing with 40%. Results so far are similar to what we saw in the primary special election in March. Fong won Fresno and Kern. Mike Boudreau won Kings and Tulare. Again, that's what we're seeing tonight as well, and that is statewide. And here's a look at how voters are siding here in Kern County. Fong again in the lead with 74% of the vote. Boudreau trailing with 26%. Kern is Fong's home base. He's a native, and he's represented Kern in the California Assembly for nearly a decade now. His name ID translates to votes, and Kern makes up more than half the district. Many voters I spoke with tonight at the Kern GOP watch party said they chose Fong because they know and trust him. Again, the Associated Press and the New York Times are already projecting Fong as the winner in this race. He's put out a statement saying, in part, quote, "I am filled with humility and gratitude tonight as early results show that voters have overwhelmingly selected me to serve as their voice in Washington, D.C. We will be talking to Fong Wednesday morning."